Alex, welcome. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Cath. Thank you.
So you are researching a condition called dry eye.
That's right.
What is it?
Well,
It's dry eyes.
You know what it is. If you've ever spent a whole day in front of your computer
Yeah.
and your eyes have felt tired and gritty and dry, that's dry eye. Now imagine that chronically.
Yeah.
Dry eye really is a disease of the tear film, of your tears, which leads to changes of your eye surface, and is associated with these chronic sensations of discomfort and dryness.
Yeah. Do you know, just talking about it, actually my eyes are starting to itch.
Yep, that's my role. Yeah. Raising awareness.
So where does it come from? Like you mentioned computer screens, is that part of the culprit?
It's one of the things, definitely. Dry eye is a complicated thing. There's a lot of things that can lead to dry eye, and I think it makes sense to distinguish so-called modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. There's things you can do and things you cannot. You cannot do anything, not much, about your age, your gender, your ethnicity. These are things that we know are associated with dry eye disease. So certain people will have an increased risk of dry eye. Right. But there's things you can change, such as the environment you're in. If you spend a whole day in an office that runs air conditioning all the time, that is likely to lead to dry eye. Oh, okay. If you wear contact lenses, if you take certain medications, and screen time, extended screen time is definitely one of the big factors nowadays.
So why would screen time have such an impact on dry eye?
Let me ask you a question. How many times a day do you think you blink?
I'm too busy to blink. No, I have no idea.
And that's why you have itchy eyes.
I don't know. It would be a lot. Thousands?
10,000.
10,000.
So that's your normal blinking rate. That would be a normal sort of average blink rate for a person. Please do, yeah. You're so aware. I'm counting. I'm sitting here with a counter. So we blink about 10,000 times a day, or we should. When you stare at a screen and doing highly focused work, such as gaming, for instance, if you ever watch a gamer playing a game...
That is not focused work, kids.
Okay? Well, let's start arguing about that. You will see the blink rate reduce considerably. We actually find that blink rates reduce by up to 90% when you're on a screen. Oh. You focus way more when you're on a digital screen with dynamic content. The distance, the size of it, the level of our focus really increases and drives us to blink less.
And it's not just gaming though, it's like looking at a screen would cause you to blink less?
I guess we need to carefully distinguish between the task we're doing with our screen, because probably looking at a PDF document on a screen versus the PDF printed won't be much of a difference, although even there we see slight differences. It really has to do with how engaged we are. And these days we are more engaged than ever, scrolling through our feeds and posting and whatnot. So doing that for extended periods of time leads you to really play little staring contests with your screen. You blink less, and not only do you blink less, but you also blink incompletely. What happens when you blink incompletely is that the lipid, so your tears, are a very interesting, very complex liquid substance composed of thousands of ingredients. One of them is lipid, and it's the most important component for the stability of your tears. If you now stop blinking, you'll feel that burning sensation. That's your eyes drying out. If you don't have enough lipid, your eyes will dry out. But for the lipid to be produced, you need to blink fully.
Right, okay.
So that's what happens. If you blink way less staring at a screen, you'll get less lipid produced, your tears become more unstable, and your eyes dry out faster. Over time, these can lead to changes of the ocular surface and potentially the chronic signs and symptoms we see.
Wow. I'm paranoid now. So can you make up blinking?
Excellent. Made my point.
But if you haven't blinked enough because you've been staring at a screen, you can't compensate for that, can you?
You actually can. There's a couple of apps out there. Of course, there's an app for everything. There's plugins for your computer. We actually ran a study recently at the University of Auckland together with my colleague and mentor, Dr. Jennifer Craig, most of the work lies on her shoulders, really. We've invited 50 volunteers to take part in a month-long study, and we asked them to do blinking exercises every day, every 20 minutes. So do this, once every 20 minutes. They came back after a month, their eyes were healthier, happier, they claimed less symptoms, and the quality of their blinking had improved.
Ooh,
So
okay.
it's trainable. There's a potential. How we do that, I guess we'll have to see. But it's possible.
So you can resolve it by blinking more, but you probably won't think of it.
I guess we're all a bit different. Some people are really good at training that and coming up with props or be it incentives. Sometimes people go, every time I right click, I remind myself to blink.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That may be trainable, but the reality is that won't work in everyone. So we just need to communicate our work better, our findings, and educate to empower people to be more aware about the choices they make in their lives and their children's lives in their digital future.
Awesome, thanks for joining us on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you, Cath.